Let me guess, you're trying to lose weight, you feel like you're doing everything right, and you just can't see the results you want. Trust me, I know how frustrating this is. Well, as someone who's been coaching clients for almost a decade, I've seen it all, and I've helped hundreds of people overcome this problem. So today I'm gonna show you 4 key things you can do to start seeing results, and we're gonna talk about nutrition, activity, your metabolism, but honestly, this is probably the most important part, and this might actually trigger you a little bit, but it also could be just the wake-up call you need, because the biggest reason most people can't lose weight is you're just not following the program quite as well as you think you are. So what I want you to do is this. Pretend you got a call from a major TV network and they said they were doing a documentary where they were taking people who claim they couldn't lose weight, even on low calories, and they say, we will pay you $1 million. It's only gonna take 2 weeks of your time, and in those 2 weeks, you will have a camera crew on you 24/7, and we just wanna document and see what you're doing. If you're on this show, knowing millions of people are watching you, and you're claiming that you can't lose weight, how much different do you think your life and your actions would look like than they are right now? Would you work out more? Would you work out with more intent? Would your step count go up dramatically? How much different would your nutrition look? How much different would your schedule look? And I'm not saying that you have to let your life be completely ruled by fitness. I'm not even saying you're intentionally trying to get away with stuff. It's just oftentimes we don't even realize what we're doing until we get that honest feedback. So with that, let's dive into the nutrition side of things and some of the things you can do to A, make sure you're being accurate, and B, even if you are, what are some of the changes you can make to start seeing better results? And the first thing you want to do is make sure you're tracking your intake. There's so many diets with names out there. At the end of the day, it's all about eating in a calorie deficit. There's many ways to get you there, and all these diets can show success stories, so none of them are magic. But if you don't know how much you're eating, how can you possibly make adjustments to get the process working again? So if you aren't tracking your intake, for the next week, eat exactly the same way you've been eating. I know you haven't been losing, but you want to get some honest feedback. What do my portion sizes look like? What's actually in the foods that I'm eating? And now you can make some adjustments. Another thing that kills a lot of people is inaccurately accounting for their intake, doing a lot of eyeballing of portion sizes instead of measuring your food on a food scale, sneaking extra bites and taste and things that don't get accounted for, and YOLOing it on the weekend and pretending like it doesn't happen. Remember, it's not your target calories that matters, it's how many calories you consume, regardless if you track them or not. Another strategy you can make is start eating a higher protein diet. Even on a calorie equated diet, more protein can help with fat loss because it's got such a high thermic effect of food, and research has consistently shown higher protein diets are better for fat loss and retaining fat loss as well. So take a look at your protein. If it's not at least 1 gram per pound of whatever your goal weight would be, bump it up to that. You can do even a little bit more. It's only going to help. And you can even start with doing the same calories, but if you want to really go next level, drop your calories maybe around 10% while also bringing your protein up, and that should really help get things moving. One thing you might not be doing is making sure you're taking diet breaks, and these are so helpful, especially the longer you've been dieting, the leaner you get, your body's just going to start fighting you more, and you're going to see some of these metabolic slowdowns. Your hormones are going to get altered, and your body's basically trying to make sure you don't starve to death. So adaptive thermogenesis takes over, your maintenance calories drop, so you have to be able to make adjustments through these plateaus. What I found is by every handful of weeks, maybe every 4 to 6, 8 weeks tops, take a 2-week diet break where you bring your calories up around maybe 300 to 500. You can also reduce some cardio, maybe around half. Give your body this break, and it will start to upregulate better. So when you come back and make that adjustment down, now you can start seeing results. Now, nutrition isn't the only thing that matters. Your activity levels do as well. I love activity trackers. I think they can be super helpful. Just by wearing them alone, you tend to be more active. You're monitoring things like your steps. The big thing though is to make sure you're not looking at the calories burned and assume that you actually are burning that many calories, because those trackers have been shown to be off dramatically. Research has shown they can even be off up to around 85%. But you can look at it to go, I'm being more or less active. And then yeah, check your step count. If you haven't been paying attention, just like nutrition, do things the same for the next week, see what you average, and then try to increase your step count around maybe 3,000 per day, especially if you do it in conjunction with dropping your calories more. That'll really help get things moving. Also, make sure you're not being a cardio bunny. Problem with cardio is your body adapts to it pretty quickly, and research has shown you actually end up burning less calories through the same amount of activity, and you just have to keep doing more and more and more. Whereas strength training, you might not burn as many calories during the actual activity, but as it helps you build build more muscle. Muscle helps with metabolism. Your body also gets something called EPOC, which stands for excess post-exercise oxygen consumption, where for the next around 48 hours, you actually burn more calories than your normal genetic baseline as your body is trying to recover from that. So it's one of the most underrated tools for fat loss, but also understand muscle has weight, so don't get too caught up in just the scale. Make sure you're taking pictures and measurements. Pay attention to how your clothes are fitting, because at the end of the day, you're not trying to change a scale number, you're trying to change your body. Now, let's say you take all the advice that I just gave you, and you're doing all the things I said, and you still just can't lose. I'm gonna take a wild guess then and say you probably have a pretty extreme history of dieting, probably crash dieting on very low calories. If you have a history like that, your body, it's gonna do everything it can to make sure it holds on to the fat you have, which is basically the body's future energy. So it's protecting against when it feels like in the future, you're gonna come down and try to starve it again. So if that's been you, your metabolism is probably pretty trash at this point. And I know that sounds probably pretty discouraging, but don't think that means you're hopeless. You're not. It does mean you're probably not gonna be able to lose fat right now, but you can fix this with a process called reverse dieting. What you do here is you gradually increase your calories over time. So understand, eating less, metabolism slows down. Eating more, metabolism speeds up. The reason we do a more gradual approach is because if you just eat a lot more right up front with a slow metabolism, you're gonna gain body fat pretty quickly, and you're gonna have to take off that much more down the road when you do come back to cut. So with the more gradual approach, your body can minimize some of the fat gain. Now I'm saying minimize, not none at all, but this is the thing that's gonna set you up for the success you're after, but you do have to give your body time to adapt. Don't rush back into this. But rather than go on and on about reverse dieting, I have a video you can check out right here next that covers everything you could possibly need to know to help fix your metabolism. So check that out next. I'll see you over there.